Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I'll never let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off as friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone. Break down, always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't never let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, when I can find my way, even when I'm feeling down. I fight, even when I don't know what is right. I'ma pick a side, and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate, and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone. It's so cold outside, I'm alone. It's so cold yeah. I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though no, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love, still gonna die for what I love. Still gonna try, I won't give up. Still gonna fight until I've won. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left. And I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret. Cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no. Some injuries, mentally and physically. Studied them religiously so I don't repeat history. And people won't admit to me they don't want a victory. Bad enough to get a C, they'd rather just go leave it be. And this journey I've been on since 13, working hard and learning, never stopping searching. Yeah, it's burning, all this passion hurts me. I took action working, writing down these words. No, I'm not okay, I just wanna be something. I don't wanna be nothing, living all alone. No, I'm not alright, I'm just barely getting by. But I'll tell you I'm just fine, so you leave me alone. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left. And I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret. Cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no. it's too late now. I remember you and me, and how careless we could be. All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never enough. We hook up in my car, driving so far, play your guitar, you'd show me your art. Let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun, hoping when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song, dance all night long till the lights come on. Too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we got. It's too late now, I remember you and me, and how careless we. It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be.
It has been a really long time since we've actually been on a desk together when it comes to not just Dota, but just esports in general, right?
Yeah, I mean, you abandoned me, left me to the wolves, as they want to say.
Abandoned. I ascended to the gods. I was inducted into the Ivory Tower. That's a little bit of an Australian esports meme for everybody playing along home there. But Poglet, we're getting ourselves into another day here of the QH Sports Dota Series number 2, and you know we talked to some of the guys before we went here live on broadcast, and I think we've got an absolute barn burner of a day ahead of us. We've got a lot of really good series. We've got a lot of really good teams as well, and I think that's a good way for us to start out our reuniting together here, especially because we've got Ragdoll and Execration going head to head here to start out the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for a lot of these series. Obviously, I don't get all 4. You get all 4, luckily for you.
Luckily for everyone at home, actually. They get to hear me for 4 series.
And they don't get to hear me for 4 series. It's double whammy. But Ragdoll Execration, it's a bit of like the new versus old. Execration obviously been around for quite some time. Ragdoll is still a team. I still don't know how good they're going to be. Like, we see flashes of brilliance, but we also see a lot of mistakes for a new team. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned it, Royal 5, Team SMG. I finally get to cast a KP game. It's been, I think, like 4 months since I've seen KP play as a caster, and I'm so excited to see my Aussie boy play.
Yeah, I'm super excited for us to dive into the SMG series as well. And then we've got a double dip of MY to round out the day. Obviously, as you said, you're not going to be joining me for those final 2 series. We'll be having Darcy on the mic once again for those ones. So we've got some really tight series. I think our third one's really going to be a pretty big contention between MY and Royal 5. And that final one probably should be an Execration victory there, but we were told that they actually did have a best of 5 against each other not too long ago, and that went to 3-2. So it seems like that one might be a little bit of a tight one as well, Poglet. So with those out of the way, let's start getting ourselves into this Ragdoll versus Execration series. And I think the best place for us to start will be with Ragdoll here. Obviously, I covered a decent amount of these guys from series number 1 of the QH Sports Dota series, so I'm excited to be watching these guys again, because when we saw them play, it really did feel like that Arjit and VT Faded were kind of the linchpins for them, and then we had players like GY and James really kind of play around them in those positions, just kind of enable them, right?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for them is it's more of an old school playstyle. Like, I talked about them being a new team, but the old school playstyle was like your cores get all the farm, your offlane doesn't really get that same priority, and your pos4 always plays more on the support side than the carry high mobility supports that we're seeing lately. So like you said, RG, VT Faded are the linchpins, and they give the farm priority accordingly. Like, you're going to see games where they have 20k net worth over their offlane, and it's pretty heavy for GY when it happens.
Yeah, sometimes he does get sacrificed. I have seen a few carry games come out of him. I believe he has picked up the Void Spirit, but that was in the old patch as well, and now we're into a new patch, so things might be changing a little bit here. So let's get into our second team for today. It is going to be Execration. So I'm excited to actually get to watch these guys once again. Obviously, as you said, this is a team that's been around for a long time. A lot of these names we've been seeing quite a lot of. I think the best one for me is Bob. I really enjoy watching Bob. He's one of those mid players that has those very kind of high mechanical, flashy kind of heroes that he likes to play. He likes the TAs, likes the pucks, likes all those kind of heroes. And I think this patch right now maybe might not have those heroes in the meta all too much, but still is, to me, it feels like a meta where the mid can do quite a lot with the heroes that are available to them.
Yeah, I mean, just to double down on him, his name is Bob, but it feels like his name should be Boom or Bust because, like you said, he plays the high flash heroes.
Yeah.
But his best hero is Kunkka, in my opinion. So that's still in meta. That's still great. So he's still got that play style, like that really aggressive tank front line from the mid lane. But the rest of the team, like running through, they're so reliant on BDZ. I feel like every game that he has a bad game, they lose by 30, 40k. But if he has a good early game, he gets off to a good start, gets an early level 6, we can see him do a lot of work. So it's a complete difference between Ragdoll's playstyle of all in on the carries. They really like to spread the net worth on Execration.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a clash of styles here between the two of them. So that's why I'm excited for us to jump into game number one, Poglet, because this is where we get to see where these teams are going to start to stand against each other. And we've got the draft up on your screen. So I'm glad that the three heroes that I was going to touch on this patch have been banned so far. Lycan, Coddle, and Omni Knight are the three heroes that have been terrorizing my pubs ever since this patch has been dropped. And being a lowly little ancient player, it is hard for me and my teammates to wrap our heads around these three heroes. So I'm excited that I don't have to watch them yet again here in our first series of today.
I mean, you still got the Beastmaster, which we saw got picked out of control when 730 dropped. The nerfed Helmet Overlord seems to drop his pick rate. But if you hate Lycan, you're going to hate Beastmaster as well. And off stream, we obviously talked about the Tika. Chances are high we see one today. I don't think it'll be this series. I think it will be SMG running it back. They were doing it yesterday as well. They've done it in another tournament previously. But for this draft, for those that were wondering, the pick priority, Execration had first pick. So they went with the Pango, and we're seeing Ragdoll love this. They go straight to a Bloodseeker. They go straight away with that counter pick. They look for the Rupture, and Batrider as well is a pretty good Rupture target. So like we might even see an Aghanim Scepter for the first time this tournament on a Bloodseeker.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of a spicy one. I'm surprised that they didn't go for maybe something like a Grimstroke in that second phase picks then. If, as you said, they kind of like the Bloodseeker and they've got two good Rupture targets already. And I think the Grimstroke would kind of, hinder this Pango a lot, considering that they've also got the Rupture in their back pocket as well. So going for more of the defensive support. I think that's something I've been seeing quite a lot with this new patch, right? Is a lot of these defensive supports once again. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Omni Knight. We've seen a lot of Abaddon that's been floating around, just kind of making sure that those hard carries can have a really good time, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things when ancient stacking is still ridiculously busted. They didn't really touch it in 730. Getting those carries, or even the mid lanes like the TAs, the Kunkkas, etc., we've talked about them, just to rapidly accelerate, not build any defensive items. That's the big takeaway. Because that way you can rush, like TA is the best example. You rush Dragonlance, then the Deso. Sometimes people go Ags before BKB, and you just rely on your support to save you. Clinks is another one of those heroes that just builds 3 offensive items and hopes for the best. So having that Shadow Demon in the back line to save you to reset the team fight when you get maybe ruptured, you have to have that 3 seconds of delay. That's a good pickup for Execration.
Yeah, it's another one of those heroes that really feels like has had the biggest uprise coming in from 7.30. He's had that change to Strafe. It is now Piercing Arrow. I don't know. They've changed his Q and his E's and his W's 50 times in the last 10 patches. So at this point, I can't keep up with Clinks. I just know that hero is good, does a lot of damage, pretty hard to kill once he gets that Scardy pickup as well. So it's interesting to see if they're going to have enough damage here on the side of Ragdoll, because they've picked up a Faceless Void, and from what I've seen so far with this Faceless Void, kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like a lot of the time it takes so long for him to start dealing his own damage, right?
Yeah, you really need that extra damage, but they have the Pure Blood Right to drop right on the Chrono, and they have the Finger of Death, arguably the best POS 5 aid spell. Because the Kratos are 2.5 minute cooldown as well. Like they're both 160, 150 seconds, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
So basically, they're going to be up at the same time. And that damage issue you mentioned isn't really an issue when you're dealing 900 damage from the POS 5. So we'll probably see Ragdoll have to delay the game, play it really slow, avoid the pickoffs, because Execration, that's a fast lineup. Low cooldown Rolling Thunder. Lasso is a bit of a high cooldown, but you don't need it. And obviously, Clinks will run around the map like an absolute nut job, looking for kills everywhere.
Yeah, especially with, as you said, his Bat Rider as well. Like we've seen quite a lot of these bats rush those boots of travel and just be kind of a nuisance on the side lanes. And Clink certainly has enough damage to be able to help out with those. So right now, we're just getting through the final bans coming in here. Execration seems to think that Ragdoll need an Argent hero here. So they will get rid of the Queen of Pain and the Invoker for them. I'd be interested to see whether or not they go for more magic damage here for the side of Ragdoll, or whether or not they try and go back for something with a little bit more physical damage for them.
I mean, as it stands, if they're going to run that offlane Bloodseeker, it looks like they will. They don't need more physical, because like Bloodseeker in the late game gets that Blood Rage, gets that Thirst. He's going to run around with a Maelstrom, maybe an SMY, eventually a Basher. He won't need to do more attack damage. So I think they need to kind of all in on a pick-off hero, but something that's not going to get cleaned up by the Bat Rider. And there aren't really many left. I'm thinking Void Spirit might be the best option for them, just because he has that kite ability. He can get into a lot of fights. And he doesn't really need to worry about high magic burst. He has a bit of both.
Okay, I'd like to see that. I feel like that gives them a little bit of an answer, but I think this Night Stalker is a little bit of a spooky one for them, right? Because we've seen how strong that hero has been as a flex in some of the European tournaments that we were lucky to see before everyone starts going over to Romania for TI. So I think this Night Stalker hero provides a lot of issues for Ragdoll, and right now I think maybe something along the lines of like an early BKB picker would be nice for them, right?
Yeah, well, they're going to need it. Unfortunately, the Lasso's still going to pierce. I mean, so is the Burning Barrage. So it's quite a hard window where you're going to need BKB probably around the 20 to 25 minute mark. But it's still going to get you killed, and you're still going to need the Abaddon to save you. So they really don't have many picks here for Ragdoll. They're going to have to just rely heavily on the Lion and the Abaddon making a lot of space in the early game, which doesn't sound great up against the Bat Rider and a Pango.
Yeah, it really does feel like that Ragdoll have kind of got themselves a few issues that they need to try and solve here in the final pick. And, you know, we've seen it across multiple of these games, right, Poglet, where this final pick has to solve so many issues for them and you can only solve so many. So to go with the Lena here, it is a flexible hero that is able to have that mixed kind of damage. So I'm interested to see what kind of build Argent's going to go here on the Lena.
Yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if he goes Boots of Travels as his second item. Like, as in his first item's Bottle and his second item's Boots of Travels. Don't be too put off by that rush there, because he needs to be everywhere. Like, we talked about the Chrono extra damage with the Finger of Death, but they now have Laguna on top of that. So the Rupture, the Laguna Blade, that's going to kill anyone. And they're going to have to do a lot of momentum swing in that mid game before the Blink Daggers come up. Like you mentioned early BKBs, but if they get a blink on Night Stalker or a blink on Bat Rider, or hell, even a blink on the POS 4 Pango, those fights are over. They're just complete disasters. You can't be there if you're Ragdoll.
And that's going to be the spooky thing, right? It feels like that they need very early BKBs, but they still also need to have ways of winning these team fights for them. The BKBs doesn't really solve too many of their issues. It does allow them to at least play these team fights, but then at some point you're going to be lacking a little bit of damage. So I think for now, you know, with the way that I've seen that this draft has gone, I really do feel like Execration have, I don't want to say a simpler way to execute. It still is, you know, pretty straightforward for Ragdoll. They get some BKBs, they get some items, and they try and win the game that way. But it feels like Execration, they don't have to itemize to try and shore up some of their issues that they've got. And that always feels a lot better as a Dota player, right? Not having to itemize to shore up some of the issues that you have.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you've got the answer without having to buy a 5,000 gold item, because a lot of the times the quote-unquote answers are Hex, because you don't have stuns. BKB, because you don't have defense. And like that's a 4k item. Hex is 5.6. Hell, even an Orchid's like 3.5, and it doesn't really solve problems. And then you think about the Greaves, the Lotuses, they're all very hard items to build up to, and you kind of don't get value out of them. They're all defense, like you said. But something we didn't mention, like the fans can't see it, but we can in our client. that's a pos 5 Poglet. So they flipped it around a bit. They're actually playing the aggressive Shadow Demon. They're going to play the pos 5 Pango. That new shield crash just means that hero can play anywhere, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I've been seeing this quite a lot from Shadow Demons specifically, is them being more of the offlaner and being a little bit greedier than what we usually see from these Shadow Demons. You know, back in a couple of patches ago, he was just the saving support, right? You would just get disruption, try and get yourself an Eighth Lens or a Glimmer Cape, and praise to God that you get a disruption save when you carry and he wins the game for you. But now we've been seeing a lot of these Shadow Demons max out the Shadow Poison, try and rush out that Ags, and become a pseudo damage dealer. I believe in series number 1, QH Sports Dota series number 1, me and Darcy actually covered quite a lot of these Shadow Demon games, and they were turning into damage dealers, Poglet. Like they will be becoming like second and third cores because they had Ags, they had Aethelins, they had Force stuff, they were getting hexes and stuff, and they were just doing so much work in these team fights. They were actually an issue that you had to deal with, and that's why I think Execration have put this as a pos 4 rather than a pos 5, and just kind of have it as a disruption bot.
Yeah, I mean, the big changes there are the talents and the Aghanim Scepter. When they said the Aghanim Scepter now has 3 charges, this is a while ago, mind you, but ever since then it's been trending in that direction. And then they doubled down. So the level 10 talent, it's Shadow Poison talent. Level 15, it's an Ultimate Purge talent. Level 20, it's another Shadow Poison talent. So like it's kind of pushing you towards playing that pseudo core. And it reminds me of Coddle a lot, where like you give Coddle a dead lane, and it's almost impossible to push into him because he's so far away throwing spells that he gets farm, and you're kind of like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, you can have it. Like, see ya. I'll come back later for this tower.
Yeah, and I think that's like a pretty big reason why that Coddle is such a strong hero what he is right now. Obviously, outside of every other busted part about all of these spells that he has so far, but just the fact that he's able to, even if you do have a little bit of a rough time, he can just freely shove out these dead lanes and do whatever he wants. So I'm glad that we haven't seen him just yet here in this series so far, but we still have plenty of games to go, Poglet, so I'm sure that maybe at least once he might creep in today. I've luckily enough been able to be the only guy so far that I've seen playing it. So I actually haven't played against it just yet. I've played quite a lot of it and actually absolutely adore it. I think it is so fun to be playing Coddle, and you just solo bind the carry, and they're like walking around, they're like, oh, I'm just going to be slow, and you're walking with a level 2 Dagon, and you take away 3/4 of their HP. And they're like, what just happened? And they don't even see the Coddle. He just zaps them from the trees and you're like, see you later, buddy.
I think it's going to get nerfed because as it stands, like you said, the Solar Bind slows your movement speed as you move. But the magic resistance, like the debuff, the removal, that happens instantly. So even if you don't move, you still have like a 30% magic debuff on you, which is insane. Like, I think you should be able to move and then it causes it. I think that'll be the big change we see for him. Because what is it? It is 30% at max level.
Yeah.
Which is wild because the Veil, which is like an item you need to buy, is half as much.
Yeah, exactly. And he gets that freely, and then obviously Chakra Magic means you can apply it basically every couple of seconds. So,
well, he's got the 2 charges if you go that talent as well, which it's nice and fair, but we'll have to talk about it in another game because that's a kill almost.
Yeah, he's going to cop the Blood Rider as well. He doesn't have the move speed to get away from this, so Parlos will be the first one to bite the dust here. James picks that one up, so pos 4 getting that one. It's a nice little start there for the line.
Yeah, I mean, especially a line that's gone boots. He's going to have Tranquil Boots pre-Horn if he wants it.
Yeah.
I think he just bought a bit more regen. Yeah, oh my god. He just bought a salve and he'll bring a regen. They're ready to brawl. This offlane for Ragdoll is going to be so aggressive with the GY Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how RR combats that with this Pango. Obviously, as you said, we've seen quite a lot with this this new shield crash. It being the one that has the slow. It's 25% slow at level 1, which is for 3 seconds, which is bonkers. And the fact that it has damage reduction on top of that is pretty ridiculous. So we'll see how RR combats that very early amount of regen that Ragdoll are going to have here in this offlane. And Ragdoll, they actually got themselves 3 bounty runes as well. So they're starting out this with a very chubby Mr. Lion right now. As you said, he's basically going to have Tranquil Boots if he wants them straight away here, does James. He's going to look for RR as well.
Oh, no. RR has no way out of here.
He does have a shield crash to try and get away from this at least. So he gets the damage reduction out of that. And in comes the Earth Spike. I don't think he's going to kill him. He's just going to annoy the absolute crap out of RR. And he's going to have to base off of this as well. So there's going to be a free first lane here for GY.
And Palos put it on the tower as well, so he's actually going to be able to pull it back and make this lane really hard for Palos to play. Like, Palos, as a hero, Clinks doesn't have a lot of stats in lane. Like, he's got that boost on the ultimate, but you need to get 6 to get that boost. And until then, he's such a squishy hero, you can't level Skeleton Walk because it just breaks your early game so badly.
Yeah. You can just see the amount of pressure that comes in onto Palos already. The fact that RR's now recently just been able to come back in. He was able to deliver a Wraithband, so it's not all doom and gloom for them here in this bottom lane. But as you did say, Clinks is one of those heroes that really kind of relies on these searing arrows just being a bit of a nuisance in lane. And if he isn't able to get himself towards that level 6, he's very, very squishy. So see if Execration does try and play around that, or whether or not Ragdolls can abuse this. So have a little bit of a check-in across the lanes here, Poglet. Right now, the mid lane's going really well here for Arjit. He's doing a lot of...
spot lane's dead.
Oh, no.
He actually leveled the Skeleton Walk and he's still going to die.
Yeah, that's rough. That is not what you want to see, especially because GY has that bloodthirst. Well, thirst, not bloodthirst.
Oh.
So they get themselves 2 kills here in the safe lane, and this is not the start for Execration fans.
Yeah, I mean, Walk of Shame's going to come for the Pango. At least Palos can TP back. So he's going to get a double wave all to himself. This is going to be a free level 3 for him. I say free, but he's going to take auto attacks.
Free to a point where he had to level Skeleton Walk, still died. Now he's going to, I'd imagine, probably get the second level in Searing Arrows and try and play it that way. But right now, this lane is not going well for him.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's like similar when you get ganked on any of those carry heroes. You don't want to have to level your defensive spell because it actually breaks your lane more than dying.
Mm-hmm.
And like basically Palos now doesn't have a game until he's level 4.
Oh, he's getting caught out once again. Stuck in here with the Blood Dry. He's getting body blocked by the creeps. We do see the Abaddon die topside as well. GY is going to try and dive to tower 4 this Palos. Gets himself a cheeky little Searing Arrow towards the end there. So he's going to have no regen. Actually, he gets a salve there from his buddy RR. So he's able to at least get himself reset health-wise in this lane. But the other lanes are going just as bad here for the side of Execration. Raging Potato is not having a fun time here up against VT Faded. Does lose his courier, but at this point, he is loving life on this Faceless Void.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. We talked about the spam ability of Shadow Poison, but Faceless Void's probably one of the best heroes in the game to not care about that, because as soon as you pop it, he just jumps away. So all those stacks, he just gains health and mana because he can use that magic wand after the fact. It's almost an impossible lane to get a kill here, and VT Faded's loving it because of it.
Yeah, it really feels like they're just going to have to wait until they get levels on this lane to try and kill. But even then, they've still got Menu Ping, who they have to try and play through his Aphotic Shield as well. So that's the scary part about this lane, is they've got a hard carry to kill, and they've got a defensive support they have to play around with. And they don't really have the best skills in doing that either. So it's going to be a bit of a rough time here for Execration fans. And off to a very early lead is Ragdoll. And I was thinking that maybe this draft was going to be a lot easier for the side of Execration to have fun here, but it seems like the lanes are just going a little bit too awry in the first couple of minutes, at least anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it might turn around at night. Obviously, they have a Night Stalker, and they probably will have a kill here. I can't see the Abaddon getting away.
Yeah, he's just going to die here. He does have 4 wand charges to at least buy himself a little bit of time, but with all those Shadow Poisons, he just goes down. Menu Ping's just not having a good time here on the Abaddon mid lane. Bob does have 5 stacks here as well. Does he out regen? He does. So many stacks that Sticky Napalm was able to take down Arjit there. That was lame. Unfortunately, that's how Batrider lane does go.
Palos, no.
Is he going to live? He's got a wand. Try and play underneath his tower. He's going to try and bait it as long as he possibly can. A little bit of life. Oh, the Burning Barrage was enough damage there to at least pick up the kill before he dies. So Palos got himself a little bit of golden experience out of that.
Yeah, that's actually huge for him. He needs level 6 quicker than Bloodseeker does, because he's an accelerator where Bloodseekers is obviously more about killing. So if he can actually get that Death Pact pre-Rupture, he will start winning this lane. Like, we were joking about how much he's getting absolutely bodied, but he's now functioning as the hero we kind of need him to be.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that we can see so far is he's only 3 CS behind. So it's like, yeah, he's down 5 denies, but at this point, considering the amount of deaths that he's had 3 deaths so far. He's actually doing not too bad. Though, he's the one that's getting caught out. The Hex comes down, same with the Blood Right. And they've just got so much kill threat in this offlane here for the side of Ragdoll. They're abusing it to all ends.
Yeah, I mean, Palos, he's sitting here against solo XP, though. So it's the little things in life.
Yeah, true. That's the, the silver lining, right? You can tell that you're just trying to keep that positive mental attitude. You're like, Palos is like, oh, my +5 keep dying. Doesn't matter, bros, because that means that he's all solo XP for me. Getting towards that level 6 feels good. I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that James here on the line is level 5.25. So he's getting really close to that finger.
Same thing where I talked about getting that rupture earlier than the death pack. If they have Finger of Death, Click still only has 800 health. Finger does 600. He's just dead.
He
There's
dies
no
to impale,
improvise.
yeah. He does the impale finger, and you can just see now that they just continue this rush here on RR. He gets silenced up here by the Blood Right. They've got a lot of move speed here from GY and enough with the auto attacks to get him done. So Palos is just going to, unfortunately, once again, be left alone in this bottom lane. And I guess the question is from here then, Poglet, with the way that all these other lanes have gone, what's the real shining light here for Execration? Obviously, they're only 2k behind, but what are they looking forward to here in this game?
I think it's Bob getting early Trav Splick. Like, he's got them both queued up, he's got stacks, and this would be 1,000 gold here pretty easily if he takes the Ancients as well. So he's the only real shining light they have so far. Like, they have a Night Stalker, Raging Potato hasn't got Orb Corrosion, hasn't got Phase Boots like we sometimes see. So he's not going to really win the man fight. And now we're going to see a BT fade. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, hitting both there with the Chronosphere, be able to get themselves onto Raging Potato. And Arjit didn't use his entire kit, so was able to at least get the confirmation after that disruption. But you can just see, Ragdolls, they are certainly on a tear right now. And bottom lane seems to be a little bit more of the trades. And now that we've got Death Pact online for Palos, so he's going to feel pretty good about staying in this lane because it is pre-rupture, so he feels pretty good about that. And now the fact that James has made his way towards mid, he can have a little bit of free time. And speaking of James, Bob is starting to eye him off here. Doesn't have that much left here of the Firefly. Oh, he doesn't get back up to the high ground. Oh, Bob, that's so unfortunate for him. There is a haste rune here on the Lina as well. So Arjit's going to try and hit this LSA. Misses it. Bob's got the fancy feet to get through that one. They don't have the mana for the Laguna Blade either. So Bob's going to freely run away from this. The auto attacks are there. Oh, they get the Thirst Vision. Bob's going to go down there to the auto attacks. There wasn't a Bloodseeker in that game, I could imagine, and Bob just juking around for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, what was it, half a second maybe? And now Palos is dead in the bot lane as well.
He throws out a Burning Barrage, but it's not going to be enough. The Finger of Death on top, and James gets that one done. RR's the next one on the list, but I think they don't have enough to get through him. No, they've got no mana, they've got no cooldowns. They lose their Clinks once again, and it's a 3k net worth lead here at 8 minutes in, Poglet, and we were saying that this one could be a banger, but I think right now Ragdoll is starting to blow Execration out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, it might even get worse here. BDZ looks to be falling as well. He's got no TP, so there's no way out here. There's no hiding, there's no juking. He's going to try to deny himself. That's it.
He yoinked a little Wild Wing, so hashtag worth. That's all I'm saying. Yoinked the Wild Wing there from Arjit, so you feel pretty happy about that. Bottom side, though, Bob's going to get himself a trade onto GY, so him making his rotation there with the lasso. He's got the Boots of Travel up now as well, so they're coming out to him on the courier, so Bob is going to be able to at least put a little bit of tempo back here onto Ragdolls by being able to utilize those Boots of Travel to make a little bit of something happen on some of these side lanes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, unfortunately, he needs to. It's not a matter of like, oh yeah, this is a great, like, extra addition to our team. This is a desperation. We need you to come and save our lanes, Bob. Like, we need you to get kills left, right, and center.
We'll see if he can get that done, because right now he does have a lot of net worth and a lot of ways to at least kill some of these players. They can set up with the Disruption. They've got the Night Stalker as well, who's got that Dark Ascension, so he can be a little bit scary as well. So right now it does seem like that they have at least tools in their arsenal to try and pull this one back, but 2k down, 10 minutes in, is not really where you want to be with any of these teams. So right now it is a little bit spooky to be Execration right now. But Bob is putting a lot of pressure here on a VT Faded. They're one of those harder heroes for him to kill as well. Oh no, they're killing RR again. He gets ruptured. He's a poor little level 5 Pango. Oh, the disarm. But they at least get the kill there. So, GY be able to pick that one up is big for him. And this is all pre-rupture. Oh no, Bob on the top side. He gets Chronosphere top here, and Arjit's going to be able to come in with this Arcane Rune as well. We'll eventually be able to get the kill there onto the Bat Rider. They turn around here with the Dark Ascension, but it is more so just to fly over the trees than anything else. BDZ has come in to join the fray as well. LSA misses from Arjit, and they've got so much damage. He's got so many spells at the ready with this Arcane Rune. Double kill there for Arjit and Ragdoll once again. They get the rotations, they get the kills. We're going to try and make something happen here on a James bot on Raging Potato. He's going to be able to get on top of the line, so they will eventually be able to convert the kill. RR is looking for it. Do they have enough? Oh no, the Laguna Blade James! He's on 10 HP! They just want him! Oh no! RR at least gets the kill before he goes down, but that's a finger stack, baby. That is hashtag worth if you were James right now.
Oh, that is an absolute... You can't even kill the Pos 4. I mean, the Pos 4 has the same net worth as your offlane. He's 100 off Blink. If you don't actually kill him there, he has a 12-minute Blink.
Oh no.
Like, this game is getting close to like that quote-unquote disaster unwinnable position, and it's only 12 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. It does feel like one of those games where you just try and get something and just nothing's going your way. Obviously, Arjit had a beautiful rotation on the Lina, but you just needed that little bit of extra to go your way. You wanted Raging Potato to have a little bit of extra HP to at least try and get a last auto attack on James, so he was at least involved there. But RR at least was able to get them a kill. If they didn't get, as you said, if they didn't get the kill there on a James, that would have been mega tilter and would have been not fun for any Execration fans to watch.
I mean, as it stands, even losing, like getting Lagooned on one hero, fingered on the other, that looks rough. And he has the Blink now anyway. They actually gave him an Ancient creep. VT Faded was farming the Ancients and gave one to James so he could buy Blink.
That is a true respect to homies right there. That is a very much thank you. You know, every pos 4 of their rate games are like, please sir, Mr. Carry, I need 50 gold for my Blink Dagger. And they go, no, fuck off. And then, yeah, Mr. James is like, Mr. VT Faded, can I please have an Ancient Creep? He's like, yes, sir, have them all.
Please, sir, can I have one more? Just... And they've smoked up instantly, by the way. So they're actually going to look towards getting Palos here, but they might just get stuck on RR.
Well, he's the one that runs into them. They at least have some more disables to catch out onto Palos, but as you said, they kind of get themselves caught out onto RR. They take him down, they use a lot on him, but, you know, kill's a kill.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a win. That sounds really awkward, but that's a win for Execration. They commit 3, they commit a smoke. They also show the Blink Dagger. So you should have known it was coming up soon, but you never really know until you see it on James.
You know what I just... You know what I just saw, Poglet? Just before you go into some deep analysis, I got something funny. When Lion uses the pig pole, and he has the Immortal, he turns into a fish, not a pig.
That's actually kind of cool.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Valve.
They can code that, but they can't code into the skeleton walk telling me how much damage it does. Thanks, game.
Hey, it's a beta, small indie company. All right, that's all I'm gonna say.
Bob's looking for a blood here. I don't think he's gonna find anything he actually needs.
He has a DD room bottled as well, so we would at least like to try and use something. He's getting close to his own Blink Dagger, so maybe wanting to take the next couple of minutes to at least farm that one up. So he's gonna get that. Something interesting I just noticed as well, Poglet. Raging Potato's going an Echo Saber.
Yeah, we see this a lot. I don't know how I feel about it. Echo Saber with the Dark Ascension is obviously a lot of damage. They smoked up, so we'll have to probably discuss it after the gank. If Bob finds GY here, yeah, I think he's gonna find him.
Alright, he's certainly dead here. They got the Dark Ascension, they're gonna use everything for him. So they get the Bloodseeker out of that. But they're gonna lose a tier 1 off of it as well.
Yeah. But back to this Echo Saber. I don't hate it because it gives him what he needs. An extra bit of burst, a slow, and mana regen. The issue is, like, a lot of the times we see these Night Stalkers want to then become a core after the fact, and they really can't farm as well as some other conventional offlane cores.
Yeah. Like
we talked about the Beastmaster, that's so much faster farming. Oh no, bot. They're looking. Bob?
They know he doesn't have the lasso either, so they're going to at least put a little bit of pressure here onto James. He's trying to make it so he can't blink away for now. James turns back around. They've got Arjit here as well. They've got the finger and the Laguna Blade at the ready. They do not have it because of the silence comes in. The Crippling Fear's doing a lot of work already. James is going to lose his life. Laguna Blade secures it, but they're going to lose both of them for this. Oh no, that's a Yule into a demonic purge. It's not the way you want to do that, Arjit. Now Raging Potato is standing a man fighting here onto GY, but they've got the Faceless Void rotating in. The TP out from Raging Potato. So Execration, they're going to lose their support at mid for this, and it's a perfect trade on the other side for Ragdoll. And they will take BDZ, a little bit of a peace offering as well. So it was a bigger clash than what we were expecting, and out of that, I'd imagine you're pretty happy for Execration.
Yeah, very happy. Arjit being a bit too greedy there. Didn't want a Laguna first. He had the opportunity, didn't use it. He wanted to get that kill off of his support, and it actually got them both killed. Like, if they just finger and Laguna at the same time, they get that kill, and they walk away most likely. But again, Execration, all they need to do is show signs of life. They've got the late game, they've got that Clinks, they've got that Bat Rider, and even the Night Stalker, like you said, is building into a core. He's Shadow Blade next item, so he's properly becoming a carry.
Interesting. I would be like, okay, you know, old school Silver Edge when it was Echo Saber and a Silver Edge, you'd be like, hell yeah, that sounds good. You know, you have that break against the Bloodseeker. You have that break against the Abaddon as well, so it actually gives you a way to kill him inside of Crippling Fear. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this Shadowblade GUI. Getting caught out here as well. They're gonna have the Chronosphere. BT Faded goes directly into the Crippling Fear, and once again, he's constantly being silenced on the perfect edge of that Crippling Fear. So Raging Potato playing that absolutely perfectly so far, and he gets himself ruptured up, but he's only in the pos 5, so you're okay with this. And now Bob, he's found out Arjit. They're gonna burn through the leader as well. The next one on the list is Menu Pig, and he dies as well. So even though that they're so far behind here, Ragdoll, they get out team fought, and they will lose 4 for nothing here in the mid lane, and the T1 tower on top of that as well. Execration, they look hot with their execution.
Yeah, I mean, you said they were behind. They're no longer. Execration have the first lead since, let's be real, the Horn. They haven't really shown any compromising issues in the last 5 odd minutes, and it's been enough for them to win these team fights. VT Faded, by the way, he's building towards a BKB, so he bought the Sanj before that fight, and now he's going back to BKB, so he's going to be tanky, but he's not going to be doing much damage.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to try and complete that Sanj Nyasha, but after that last team fight where he was being kind of baited, I think the Immortal kind of messed with him a little bit. The AoE of Crippling Fear is actually a little bit more than what the animation actually shows you, so it's a little bit of a spooky one. BDZ though, just trying to get rid of this neutral stack here, but he gets found out by VT Faded, so he knows has at least a ward here, or he's going to get bashed. BDZ will be able to get rid of the ward at least there, so it's a positive for him, but there still is a decent amount of vision here around for Ragdoll.
Yeah, honestly, not the worst trade in the world. Like, a support gives away 280 gold. He gets that obs, which is worth, what, 175? You kind of live with that, because they're committing 4 heroes for you. And it gives Palos time. He's up in the top lane. He's farming up a Storm. They're actually going to look to see if they can get a pick off here, if anyone TPs to defend.
Yeah, they're setting up, but also Ragdoll, they've smoked themselves up as well. They've got the Chronosphere once again. They're really looking for Palos here. They would like to pick up the Clinks before he has built in towards that Skadi. As I mentioned a little bit in the draft as well, Poglet, it feels like every time that these Clinkses, when they get that Skadi, they have like 4,000 HP, and they hit like an absolute train. So it's going to be quite scary for them to try and take down Palos once he has this Skadi up, and I imagine he's probably just going to build into a BKB after that as well. So especially with the fact that VT Faded doesn't really have the damage items just yet. He's going to have to go for a BKB, then he's going to finish off his Sanj and Yasha, and at what point does a Faceless Void actually become a threat to this Clinks, though?
The issue is, I don't think he's ever going to be. I think he's always going to be a threat by Chrono into Laguna, into Finger of Death. The way they've built VT Faded, he just needs to be tanky, survive these team fights, put the time dilation on every other hero in the game, and like ruin Bat Rider's game, ruin the Shadow Demons as well, really. Okay.
But he's got ideas to get this one done. Palos has been found out, though. This is the Clinks. They have the Chronosphere. It's a beautiful roll through from RR. He catches out on everybody. Oh, no. The Death Pack wears off. He went from about 2.5k HP all the way down to 1400. And that Laguna Blade cuts through him nice and fast.
Yeah. I don't think he was going to survive anyway with the Finger Laguna, but just the double tap of you commit the roll, you have to back off. They did only lose the one hero, so it's like not the end of the world. Committing so much there. They only have the Chrono now. Every other major ulti is on the cooldown.
And that's kind of something that we talked about, right? Is this Chronosphere is not really that much of a threat if you don't have that much damage. I think Argit still is a big threat because of the amount of right-click damage that he can do from outside of the Chrono, but you don't have that instant burst with the Finger and the Laguna Blade anymore. So as long as BDZ has at least a good positioning on that Chronosphere, he's got the Aether Lens now as well, so he can at least be a bit of a, play spoiler to that Chronosphere.
Oh, and they smoke up here. Execration, 3-man smoke. They're going to look for a fight and reveal the Shadow Blade, maybe. And RG, he's been left alone. They just TP'd out the Void, TP'd out the Abaddon. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
He's so fast on RG, though. Oh, Bob found the perfect initiation. They haven't gone... RG's right there. They haven't gone. They've gone to Disruption, so they will be able to at least clean up the leader here on the backside. I thought they were just going to leave him be. Raging Potato wanted something else out of that. And I thought that might have bitten them in the butt, but they had enough. Thank God, Woggy. Otherwise, I would have been howling.
Oh, I would have snapped.
I would have lost it.
Oh, VT Faded's dead. No BKB. He's in the silence.
Oh, and he used the Mask of Madness as well, so that's why they're able to catch him out. And he's going to go down. I mean, New Ping didn't have another shield. They've got the Rod of Athos here, though, so they're going to at least be able to turn that around back onto Bob. The Rupture comes in there onto RR, so he's going to have to cancel that Rolling Thunder. There's a very fast Bloodseeker. A beautiful Impale comes in there from the Lion. First spike, Impale, same thing.
Same spell.
Same
Quite literally. Yeah, again, I mean, Execration are just playing the map so much better. That was the Shadow Blade reveal on top lane, and they still didn't respect it at all. So the Faceless Void just farming under a lane, not really registering it, and VT Fader gets punished for it. It's looking like a great pickup here. I don't really know why he's playing carry as the offlaner, but it's working out for them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it might be something I might have to sneak into my Night Stalker offlane build. It feels pretty strong right now. Seems like, I mean, he doesn't really need any of those other utility items. He's got a Batrider in his mid lane as well, so 4-staff is probably going to be something that he's going to be picking up. And we've seen so many times with these talents, the Dark Ascension damage, the Dark Ascension duration, and the 25 strength, that once you hit that level 20, this Night Stalker hits like an absolute train, and once he's got that Silver Edge and a BKB on top as well, how do they really deal with him? The only way they're going to be able to deal with him is by Chronosphering him, and at that point, using a Chronosphere to lock down this Night Stalker when you've still got a Clinks to try and play around with, you have to try and play around the Rolling Thunder as well. Like, it feels like the later this game goes, Poglet, that Execration are just going to feel better and better with how it's going.
Yeah, honestly, their biggest issue was that early to mid game. Like, if they lost the lanes, which they did, Ragdoll could punish them hard by just pressuring a 5-man all-in lineup. And Execration, they're focused on pickoffs. They still are. Even though the game's 23 minutes in, they're looking for 1 or 2 heroes. They're not looking for a 5-man team fight. And that's why they've smoked up again and they went into the triangle looking for someone farming. They weren't looking for a fight around Roshan. They weren't looking for an objective. They just want to kill one hero, back it out, and reset the game.
And right now, they were, I think, towards the bottom side. Palos has himself postured in this top set of trees. So, you see the VT Fadeds here.
He's gonna
I don't have any vision on the rest of Ragdolls, but he's certainly going to be going down here. Use the Mask of Madness and from the invis. VT Faded. He's going to bite the dust there. And beautiful pickup. I don't think you can ever use Mask of Madness when you hear the Dark Ascension.
I don't think you can use Mask of Madness full stop, unfortunately. Like, in the bot lane, that wasn't even anything to do with Dark Ascension. That was just him walking up and killing him with a Shadow Blade. Like, they had the help, obviously, the Clinks does a lot of damage, but that's twice now. VT Faded has not respected the fact that he can get picked off.
Yeah, it's really starting to bite Ragdolls here in the butt. They've got a full Skadi now on the Palos as well. DD Rune being picked up by Raging Potato. He's got the full Silver Edge completed. So not only does he do a boatload of damage, he's also got the crits to back it up. RR bites the dust, just trying to get a bit of dewarding done. So they're going to even it out with a 4v4.
What a madman. He just TP'd onto the top of a hill with the Blink Dagger. Like, he knows they have a ward there, and he went to deward it with his body. What a nut.
Well, means now that they've got at least room to try and smoke up. So Ragdoll, seeing what they can find, they really want to try and find this Night Stalker. He seems to have been a bit of a thorn in their side. He is silver edged up, so he's going to find VT Faded, who has just used that Mask of Madness. His hit is going to do a lot of work so far. He's waiting for Bob to get here, win the Crippling Fear. This is daytime though, so they have to be careful. He's going to boot them all the way back in to the lasso. And VT Faded bites the dust. Yeah, you've taken out RR, but does that really matter? Because you're not even going to be able to get on top of Bob and Raging Potato once again. And VT Faded in the hole for 45. He really just needs to try and get this BKB as early as possible.
The issue is, like, the BKB is not going to save him. Oh, they actually found the Night Stalker here. This should be a kill.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there from Raging Potato. He wanted to try and catch that Argit there. They still got the Finger of Death. The Rupture comes in with the Atos on top, so BDZ is going to do this. Oh, the Burning Barrage does so much work already. They just get through them, and Bob gets the blink away. So he's just going to be ruptured and go back into his fountain. Oh, oh, he had the Demonic Purge as well as the poisons on him. So he just died.
Wow. What a turnaround.
Yeah, he took almost 1,000 damage from Demonic Purge and Shadow Poison. Classic.
These are some awkward team fights for the side of Ragdoll. Like, you lost your carry and you decide to do the pick-off. You get lucky, by the way. Like, that's a pick-off that you really only get by the aggression from Raging Potato.
Yeah.
That's not a play that you should rely on at any point, pubs or pro games. And now, like we said, Paulus has 3.6k health. What did you say, 4,000? He's heading towards there pretty quick, and the BKB is going to be next. Yeah, oh, and VT Faded. Oh, he's going to get caught again. Oh, no.
He knows at least the Night Stalker's not on the map, so he can be a little bit greedier now. He does have the BKB, so at least for now, VT Faded is able to have some form of magic immunity. But is it going to be enough? That's the real question here. He can at least get away from the Crippling Fear. Still does have to worry about the lasso, though. So there's a little spooky one for them. They're going to put a little bit of pressure back here onto these lanes, but the side of Execration, are they setting up for Roshan?
I mean, they've got the Lucky Shot, they've got the Clink Searing Arrows. Like, he does 350 damage. They could look for a fight here. They don't notice the ward right next to the outpost, though. So they do have a good bit of vision on Ragdoll. They do know this all for... Oh, no! They've grabbed one.
Yeah, they found GY, so they're going to be able to burn through him here with the Shadow Demon. They found that menu ping as well here. VT Fader really wants to try and get a good Chronosphere coming down here. RR goes down onto the low ground. The Crippling Fear comes in as well. The BKB being used by VT Faded. He wants to set his sights here on the Night Stalker, but he's too high! He can't touch him! He can't go anywhere near him. He's on the high ground. VT Faded. That's a BKB and a Chronosphere all for naught. And Raging Potato gets himself a double kill as well, both because here from the side of Ragdoll had to use their BKBs, and it's all starting to crumble to bits. VT Fade is going to lose his life. And that's going to be it, I think. I think at this point, you just kind of call it, go next, reset.
Nah, you've still got more gameplay. Like, they haven't gotten tier 3s yet. And, like, the base defense on Ragdoll is pretty exceptional. Like, when you're coming up onto a high ground, Chrono is just easier to hit. So it's not GG just yet, but let's be real, it's not a fun game for them.
The biggest thing for me is I didn't even see Clinks anywhere near that fight. Palos was kind of camping himself towards his top side of the map, and they won that fight quite handily. And this is the scary part about playing this Faceless Void, right? This is why I always get so cautious when I see Faceless Voids in these games. GY, he brought back into this fight. It's a lot of damage. They don't burst through him. They can't get rid of him just yet. They will go into the backside, but that is a Reflectic Shield. So GY throws down the Rupture on RR. He's going to bite the dust for a little bit here, and with the disruption, he's going to be very low when he comes out of that. Damage reduction is strong enough. So Palos, being that almost 4,000 HP Clinks, just sitting here onto the front lines. And he's going to be able to chip through this Rax as well. BT Faded. They have a BKB here onto the Clinks as well. Turns around with a Burning Barrage. There's a lot of damage, but how can they get through so much HP on these Clinks? He does so much damage. VT Faded has to jump back here onto the high ground, jumps directly into the Crippling Fear, and the Faceless Void's going to go down. 60 seconds on the sideline, no buyback, same with GY. This is probably going to be the first game in the books for Execration. Yep, they're just going to call it GG. Although the first 5 minutes didn't, well, actually the first 10 minutes looked pretty dire here for Execration. They held their resolve and they pulled this one back from the brink, Poglet. And I mean, right now, Execration, they're looking good when it comes to their mid game, but maybe those laning phase mistakes might need to be shored up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you get that W, you're going to live with it. The lanes themselves weren't great, but I guess they got what they wanted out of it. They got the levels. They wanted to get to level 6 as quickly as possible. And their 3 cores did that. They might have got out-farmed pretty heavily. They might have got outmaneuvered on the supports in the early game. But at the end of the day, they just had trust with their pickoffs. And we saw so many times we
And how careless we could be.
Yeah, well, I guess Execration at least, but I think the biggest thing for me is seeing the way that early game did go. And I'm looking back here at the stats bubble, and it was basically like an almost 80% for the side of Ragdolls at about 20 minutes in the win probability. So it was a pretty big swing for Execration to be able to pull that one back. And I think moving forward, just looking at these stats, like it is one of those games where it kind of looks worse on Ragdoll not being able to execute on that early lead that they had. But also Execration, I think they just played extremely well from behind.
Yeah, I mean, it was, what, a 5-6K lead at max, which is not ridiculous. But being able to play the map, like you said, so well, being able to control the tempo as well is probably the bigger thing for me. There was never a time where we saw them get cut off from their farm. They didn't care. They played so aggressively. They kept the momentum. They kept the pressure on them. And RR died 10 times, by the way. Like, we didn't register it because every death was worthwhile. Yeah. But it just showed how much hatred they had for this POS 5 Pango. I think he didn't... Like, I don't think any other hero on Execration got ruptured. I think it was exclusively on RR.
I think I saw Bob get ruptured like once or twice.
Yeah.
But that was like basically at the point where either RR wasn't in the fight or he was already dead. So it is, when we see these kind of heroes and we see them get so countered in the draft, throwing them onto the POS 5 is always a feels good. Yeah, he did get ruptured in a lot of those fights, but as long as Execration were on the front foot right, then he was at least able to get a few seconds out of that Rolling Thunder. And I think moving forward into game number 2, do you think that maybe Ragdoll might change their idea when it comes to this Pangolier, or are they still going to try and fall back on that Bloodseeker to at least force Execration to have it as a support rather than a core?
So we've seen this last season. We saw this at the beginning of this season. When they lose to the Pango like this, they usually pick it in the game too. So they hate that matchup. Whatever it is about Pango, they just try to counter it no matter what. And last time they did this, they lost to the Pango as the Bloodseeker combo. It was a POS 3 Pango that time. And they turn around and picked it as a POS 4. So don't be surprised if they first pick Pango and see if they can turn around the matchup and see if Execration go for the Bloodseeker like they did.
Exactly. It seems like there's a few things that are going to be changing here for game number 2. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to go to a quick break. Ahead of that, it's going to be Execration and Ragdoll, game number 2, just after this.
You are not prepared.
And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'ma show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow up till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick. All the boys stare, can't help it, it's a habit. Clothes that she wears, short skirt and a jacket. I just wanna get her all alone on a mattress. I just wanna have it, I just gotta have it. Rumors all around say her body is fantastic. All natural, not a piece of fur is plastic. Head to her toes, yeah, they say that she's a latch. Yeah, the whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want a demonstration. And I've always learned it better with a hands-on education. So I need a private session if you get what I'm saying. And they say that she's not easy, no, she's really complicated. But that only makes it better, and it's got me so fixated. And I'm not the type to wait around, I've never hesitated. But she's got me captivated, so the game, I'm gonna play it, yeah. She got a body like a cocaine, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a cocaine, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. I heard you look good when you're undressed. I heard you like to get away. I heard you like to stay out late. I heard you had a couple boyfriends. I heard they didn't treat you right. I heard you're hated by your girlfriends, cause all the guys want you tonight. Yeah, they say she's too hot, they say she's too cold. Where she came from, nobody really knows. They say she looks young, but say she acts old. From everything I've heard, she gets out of control. And all the boys say she was sent from the heavens, but I'm not too sure that this girl is a blessing. She's got the devil's eyes and they'll cut you like a weapon. She's stuck in my mind like a bad obsession. Got bad intentions. She got a body like a cold thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a cold thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different, man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it though. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro, no waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision, but no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction, cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back?
About it, but Ragdoll, they started out really well, but they just kind of let it slip a little.
Yeah, I mean, the aim of the game for Execration was always going to be pick-offs. And unfortunately for Ragdoll, they didn't respect that. We saw VT Fader got pick-off, twice? 3 times in lanes before the BKB. We saw a bunch of pick-offs on GY. Even some of the supports, they really didn't have the game where they ever got to 5-man steamroll. And when the few times they got like the 4-man momentum going, they were dominating the fights. And that's what we saw early game. At the end of the day, it comes down to Ragdoll just maybe having to play more of his team.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something like that. Or it could be a few other factors, like maybe it could just be Execration just playing a little bit better in the last couple of minutes there. You know, maybe first game of the day or first competitive game of the day type deal. You know, who knows when it comes to that kind of stuff. But Poglet, let's get ourselves into our second draft of today. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 2. So this means that this is the final map between Execration and Ragdoll. Execration would love to have this as a 2-0, getting themselves back to an even scoreline so far in the QH Sports Dota Series number 2. And obviously Ragdoll would like to at least even this up to have themselves a good map score. So far, all 3 of the bad heroes are gone. Nyx is still on the pool. This is something we touched on before we went to the break, right, Poglet, about this Pango hero. So do you think now that Execration, they've got the first pick once again, do you think they're going to be leaning back towards this Pango? Well,
I think so. I mean, I didn't get a chance to answer, but why change something that works? 4 of their players can play this. Everyone but Palos has played this competitively. Like, not that Palos can't, but as a carry, I don't think Pango's quite there at the moment. So 4 positions. You have a 4-position flex first pick, and you know it annoys Ragdoll, because they picked a Bloodseeker last time. So clearly it's like a mind game. They're like, you know what? We dare you to counter it. We dare you to pick the Bloodseeker again, because we're going to body you, like we did game 1.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again from all these other flex picks that we've seen throughout the patches, that you just send them into that support role. You just say, all right, you've thrown a few counters this way, then we're just going to put it on support. But then, you know, you go again, you pick the same thing, they don't counter it this time, then it goes into a core. So it is an interesting kind of idea that we've got going into this draft so far, that the mind games have already started, especially from the first pick. So I'm just interested to see whether or not Ragdoll want to go for the Bloodseeker again. I don't think it was really... It had a really good lane, but I think outside of that, I don't think Ragdoll really were able to put the emphasis back on it. And that's why they've gone here for the Abaddon Clint combo, which it's pretty good.
This is much better. I mean, unfortunately for them, like you said, the lane went pretty much perfectly. I mean, I think GY dived the tower twice that he didn't need to. But everything about that lane was damn near perfect. And it got down to the fact they bodied the Clinks. They put him out of the game, and yet he got level 6 turnaround, got a kill, and all of a sudden he was top 4 net worth again.
Yeah.
And they can't deal with that. They didn't know how to, so why bother dealing with it when you can just pick it?
Yeah, and I think this Clink Zero, although that he wasn't really the kind of main reason why that they lost, it was more the fact that he was this kind of insurance policy for them. Like, he got to a point where he had almost 4,000 HP, and didn't really have the damage to get through him. He was dealing a boatload of damage back as well, and it's kind of shown that even if this hero has a really bad start to the lane, that you just give him a couple of minutes and he can just continue to farm quite a lot with that Burning Barrage. We've seen Clinxes just be able to tear through ancient stacks, be able to tear through neutral stacks as well, and it just means that this hero can farm a lot more than what he used to be able to, and get to those, you know, that 2-3 item spike that we've seen from Clinxes before, and have a little bit of an insurance policy. Oh, Bane.
Oh, I like this. Day 1, I was talking up how I think Bane might be one of the best supports in the game right now, with the changes to Nightmare and just generally the mana changes around the bullet. It's also a great counter. It forces Abaddon to decide if he wants to use the shield on the Nightmare, Enfeeble, or the ultimate. He can't for all of them, and you can actually just put the Abaddon out of the game, because if you Nightmare him, no one's going to auto-attack the Nightmare to get Abaddon out of it. They're just going to let him sit there. And it does damage, so it actually can tick your ultimate that way. So you can annoy them in that situation. It isn't really flexible, Like, we talked about the flex picking from the Pango. Maybe even the Abaddon's a bit of a flex pick. Can be played 3, 4, 5. And they ban out. Okay. Execration banning their own heroes.
Yeah, that's interesting, getting rid of the Night Stalker. So maybe they can see so far that they want to have this Pango as a Raging Potato Pango. So they're just making sure that they don't have those annoying heroes. Because the thing is with Bane and Pango is if the Night Stalker ever gets on top of them in Crippling Fear, he's going to kill them both. So it is a pretty spooky prospect for them to go up against. And obviously the Bloodseeker bans is pretty straightforward against a Pango. Like, you never want to be ruptured. So it is pretty hard for them to try and deal with. So I don't hate these bans so far. They are kind of interesting, but they still are bans that kind of make sense. I would like to see them get rid of more Argit heroes, just kind of space creators for these Clinks, because I think if you give Clinks enough time, he's going to get to like that 25-30 minute mark, and he's going to be, I don't want to say unkillable, but he makes it very expensive to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, the big issue with trying to ban out Argent heroes, they've got the TA, they've got the Lena, he plays a Void Spirit, he's played SF, like, I don't think he really has that, like, counter, and they've also got Storm Spirit in the back pocket at all times. So, like, if they're banning out, and they actually ban the Storm Spirit there, there's so many heroes he could play, it's almost impossible to actually ban him out of the game. And all of those heroes can play that pick-off style, is the other issue. So it's not like you're even stopping the playstyle that he likes to play.
Okay. We'll see what answers they have at least for what Argit wants to play. This final ban here, I'd imagine, is probably going to be a carry hero. A hero that will be able to match up pretty well into the Clinks. Something that can kind of man-fight a little.
I can see a Luna type ban. I know that hero's fallen out of the meta a bit, but it's still quite strong. It still can take Ancients. That percentage change on Glaives isn't too brutal. Like, I was testing it around the other day. You can feel it, but it's not like your hero is now unplayable.
Yeah.
Like we've seen in some other previous patches. Like, Gyro right now feels really bad. I don't know why. The flat cannon changes just do not feel comfortable.
Okay. So I'd imagine we won't be seeing that all too much. Ragdoll surprisingly get rid of the Faceless Void, so it seems like they have the idea about this Faceless Void versus the Clinks is a really good matchup. But I think we've just seen it that, like, Void he's in such a weird place right now where he doesn't deal that much of his own damage, and he's still very, very squishy if you're able to get on top of him pre-BKB.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see this, like, high priority pick on Void. I don't think the hero's great as a core. I think the support Void that we're seeing RNG, PSG, LGD run, I think that is much better than how we're seeing this carry core in some of the C games. But it doesn't matter. They go with a Mars, so Ragdoll, they're going to keep it simple this game. Anytime you play with a Mars, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Phoenix as the next pick. And that is a really solid lineup. Phoenix, Mars, Clinks do so much AoE damage, very hard to deal with it in the team fights. And of course, you got the Abaddon as that saving support that we said we needed.
Yeah, there'll just be a lot of stuff, I think, like in those team fights if you have to play around with the Phoenix as well. So I'm sure right now that Execration will have that idea in their back pocket. They've got a decent amount of team fight themselves, albeit, you know, single target from the Bane, but they've got a little bit of the Rolling Thunder, the Undying here. This is a hero that I've been seeing quite a lot being talked up as a new core in the offlane. I know a lot of the top tier analysts have been talking about this core Undying, you know, rushing Ags, going phase boots, being this kind of annoying bruiser and really trying to utilize the flesh column, but I don't know if it still is that good.
5 seconds remaining.
I think it is playable as a niche pick, but in the games where it's good, it is single-handedly game-winning good.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, when you have a strength-based lineup, like against Mars Abaddon, he's going to chunk. He's going to do a lot of work. And they don't have the power to turn around and kill him. That's the other thing. Clinks' Burning Barrage does a lot of damage, but it doesn't actually auto-attack a lot. So the Tomb will stay up for a while. They've got the Bane, the Pango to defend it. I quite like this. I think it should still be played as a 4, though. I don't think you need it as that full core committal. I would rather have the farm on Pango. And they go with a Luna, actually, for Execration.
Okay, so they've got themselves at least a healing hero to keep the Luna up in these team fights as well. You know, Soul Rip has been proven time and time again to be a very underrated spell in the kit of Undying, especially with that Holy Locket that's been floating around quite a lot from these supports. So Wouldn't be too surprised if we do see even a 5 Undying and then a BDZ, pardon me, a Bane. So that could be a pretty strong lane for them.
Yeah, the big issue I have with Bane is until 20 minutes, he actually can't push lanes. Like, he might be one of the worst pos 4s in the game if you play him as that to push a lane. Because you don't want to commit Brain Sap. That's like 160 mana. And you can't really commit any other spell because they're not AoE. So until he has that shard, he can't really farm, which is why we don't see pos 4 Bane too much these days. And a Shaken Bake, okay. I don't hate it, but the problem is, it's another hero that can't really deal with anything that's going on in Execration. Doesn't really deal with the roll, because he can just jump over the top of the Fissure. Doesn't really deal with the Bane, because Bane plays so far back you never get the combo in the Echo Slam. Can't deal with zombies, because you can't Blink Dagger. And even against the Luna, I don't think you're blowing up a Luna that's going to have Manta Satanic eventually.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick. I'm very... I don't know what they're going to do with this Earthshaker. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is what you said, is Tombstone is usually naturally a pretty good Blink combo breaker. Just because the zombies spawn so fast and most of the time you get kind of caught out in the trees. So, him trying to go Blink Dagger this game probably will feel pretty whack. So, I'm just interested to see what the idea is with the Earthshaker. The only idea that I can have is Fissure with a long-range initiation for them. He can stop the Fiend's Grip as well in the back, but he's going to have a pretty rough time against a lot of these heroes. So, maybe it might be a bit of an interesting one coming in from James. Maybe he's a Earthshaker aficionado and is going to really show us something here, but it's going to be a pretty rough game, I think, for him so far, and I don't really know what Ragdoll are going to be able to round out their draft with here in the mid lane, especially with Execration having their pick here as well, so they can kind of go for another team fighty core if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the aficionado. I don't think Ragdoll have played Earthshaker competitively once. Like, I'll have to double check the stats, but I don't think they've ever played it. And they go with an Ember Spirit. Okay. I love this draft from Execration. It is super, super off meta, but it looks like a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, it does look like it's very fast paced, and they're going to go with a Viper.
Honestly,
so, they are a very immobile team on Ragdoll. Very immobile. They do not move around all too much. Clinks is probably the only one that wants to start moving around the map, and it's really basically just them setting up and keeping their Clinks alive for as much as possible, I think, here, and utilizing the Viper to be a kind of heavy lane winner, right?
Yeah, they are going to try to... I mean, it's a Viper v Ember Spirit matchup, so you would hope the Viper would win that. It's a pretty pathetic Ember matchup. But look who picked the Undying, Fluke. The crowd can't see it yet, but
oh, okay.
BDZ is playing the Pangolier, which means that's a core Undying.
We have a Raging Potato. No, Undying is being played by RR. It's going to be a core Bane. We're going to have an off-lane Bane. Raging Potato Bane.
Okay.
Let's go.
I actually love this more. Like, we wanted chaos. That's even more chaos. And it makes sense. Undying's now going up into a double melee lane. That's the pos 5. He's running into the Earthshaker Mars. That's a free lane. Because Mars is based off so heavy on that damage, and the Enchant Totem is based off the strength as well. So he's stealing so much damage from them that I don't know a way of losing that lane. Wait, hold up. No, I'm wrong. They're playing off-lane Viper. Mid. Oh my god. Both of these lineups are just like, let's bait them. Let's just play them in a really weird position.
I think the mid-Mars is going to do a lot better against the Ember Spirit, which is a big thing for them. The fact that they're actually going to have a relatively decent lane. And GY here on the Viper, it's against a Luna and a Undying. So at least he's going to have ways of dealing with the Tombstone. He can at least try and spit back and be a bit annoying to them. So, I mean, maybe that. Also, you were correct. This is the first time they're playing Earthshaker. This is also the first time they're playing Viper as well. as a team. So
That one I'm happy about because Viper honestly is a scum hero. I mean, if you play in your pubs, play in your pubs, but we all know you hate yourself a little bit.
to be fair, Ragdoll are a relatively new team, so it is kind of not too shocking that they haven't played too many of these heroes, but pulling it out here in the final game of a best of 2 could be a little bit interesting.
I wonder if they know the Viper Earthshaker strat. So
Right.
no one's done this in a competitive game yet, but I have play tested it and it works. You can actually fish a block between the tier 2 and tier 3 on their side, and you can drop a nether toxin and it actually kills the entire creep wave.
Oh,
And it makes the lane completely unplayable.
I've seen stuff with that with Darkseers before. You do kind of the same thing where you just iron shell the melee creep and it kills the other 2 melee creeps and you push into the tower that way. I wonder if they're going to do that. I wonder if they have some ideas about that creep manipulation.
The thing is, I don't know if this is the game to do it because Undying's a hero that actually can brawl them both with the decay.
Yeah, and that's kind
You
of
want a hero that can't deal with it, like no stuns, no slows, just kind of like a support that sits there as a sack.
Mhm.
But Undying can turn around and beat your head in.
yeah. And especially because usually when you do that kind of stuff, you want to try and abuse the carry underneath the tower, right? And that's where, as you said, the Undying kind of comes into it for them. So we'll see how they want to play out this lane. It's going to be an interesting one for us to see how they do play it out because, as we did say, this is the first time they've played both the heroes competitively. Not the first time they've played these heroes. Obviously, they've got the Dota Plus levels, so that's a big positive for both those players at least. But
I mean, did you see the level that he has on the Viper?
yeah, it's fine.
No,
He's at least played it once.
It's-
Yeah, he's played it once. That's fine. All you
He
need.
probably played it once this morning and was like, "Yep, that'll do."
It's like, hey GY, can you practice some offlane Viper for us? Yeah, mate, 1 game, that's all I need. Easy
The
peasy.
best part is because he's level 1, it means he lost.
That's true. Because
Because if you win, you usually get like the challenges. Like if you do even a tier 1 challenge, you level up. So it means he lost the game, and they
Well, yeah,
picked it
because
anyway.
you get the extra 50 experience from winning the game, so he was actually able to get to level 2. So that's some big brain stuff there for Mr. GY. But we're gonna have a little bit of a kerfuffle here. James, oh no, he's getting body blocked. Bob's gonna be able to come in as a big nether toxin as well as the Fisher comes down. So they're gonna catch out so many of these heroes, and for some reason it seems like Execration were on both sides of the river there. I don't know how that ended up, but they're able to get there at least, and a lot of kind of regen just being traded here, and we're going to go 50-50 with the runes at least. Maybe menu ping. Oh, he was so close. I thought he was going to be able to get it.
He would have made that. I mean, they got up the back one, so VT Faded actually stole one.
Mhm.
So it was 2 for 2 in the end. But I reckon he could have got that. He just didn't know where everyone was. He didn't know if they were actually keeping the Undying up there to kill him.
And that's the kind of scary thing, right? You don't want to feed away, especially too early on here. So Ragdoll, they're going to start out here with the 50-50. It's a much more even state here for Execration in the first couple of minutes.
And I really want to see how Raging Potato plays this lane. I don't know if you've seen what he's building, but I hope to God it's a Dagon.
Well, he's just got a crown, and he's bringing out a mango, so... He's got an idea. I don't know whether or not the idea is good.
Probably Meteor Hammer. So he needs something to push out lanes.
Oh, okay.
That would be my assumption here, because Meteor Hammer is pretty good. You nightmare them, you enfeeble them, you just walk up to them and Meteor Hammer their head. That sounds like something they could run, and also explains why he has no regen, because he wants to commit to get a really early ring of health.
Well, I mean,
Also,
to be...
bot lane? What is happening?
BDZ is going to lose his life as well, and there's a fight underneath the tier 2 towers. VT Fader was the one that was able to actually get the first blood, but unfortunately here for GY, he was the one that was getting caressed under the tower.
Yeah. They just, like, straight up, RR just walked under the tower, hit the decay, and then started punching him. Under the nether toxin and everything. Didn't care.
RR is a Giga Chad, it seems. Was able to get himself a kill. So he takes that experience. It wasn't the first blood. VT Fader was able to get that one. But nonetheless, it was still a good enough play for them.
Yeah. And the lane we haven't really mentioned, this mid lane is completely disastrous for Bob so far. 13-6 up against 5-1.
And this is why they made this change, right? We've seen it a few times as a kind of Ember Spirit counter. You pick up this Mars in the mid lane. He can't deal with the God's Rebuke. You can't really out-trade the Mars almost ever. He has a little bit of kill threat on you at a certain point with that Spear of Mars as well. And you're going to see already, Bob is copying it here from Arjit. He has to walk away. He did have the Flame Guard there, so the Spear won't be able to kill him at least.
Yeah, and he keeps taunting, so I'm not going to look at that lane anymore. Speaking of looking at lanes, top lane, it's not looking fun for this offlane Bane.
Well, it's not fun for this offlane Viper, because Poggy, he's died once again. R and James are going to have a little bit of a battle here on the supports, but unfortunately for James, that is a whole lot of zombies. Oh, he gets through him! Oh my god, the Aftershock. Just did a lot there for James. I was able to at least trade it back, but... I mean, you take that if you're a pause for Earthshaker, considering you're going to die anyways.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is now you give the solo XP to Palos. Palos is level 4.5. GY just got level 3. And this is not really a matchup that you want to get level advantage. The Luna has really good early game spells. Like, if you max that Luna Blessing and start doing 100 damage, you can turn around and pretty much brawling up against anyone. And it makes even the matchup... Oh, no. They might get him, though. Palos is stuck.
Is he stuck? What do you mean?
He just didn't move.
What? There's no way he was stuck.
Did he DC there, or...?
I don't know what happened. He was certainly not... He just stopped moving. Unless he was, like, legitimately bugged into the fissure. I don't know what happened there, because he sort of could have certainly walked away. He had a big wand as well.
He just cops the death square on the chin. It's got to be a lag spike. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that was a bit interesting. But either way, now he's respawned. But they can't dive the tower because they're going up against an Undying. He does keep his 2-stone healthy for now. James is going to throw out yet another Fissure. He's level 4 here on this Earthshaker because that means these Aftershocks doing so much work already. RR's going to try and turn back around with these decays. Everybody's so low on mana and HP that they can't really get these spells out like they would like to.
Yeah, I mean, back to the Walk of Shame potentially for RR. He's going to salve Palos, so look to see if he commits suicide on a jungle creep. And he has an urn. He's built the entire urn, basically. 780 gold in the backpack. I don't know why he isn't buying it, is the big thing.
Maybe he's holding off, seeing if he can greed out for maybe some arcane boots. They are cheaper now, so he's pretty close to it. I think he's only a couple gold away. So
yeah, it's 800 now, so yeah, he does have it if he wants it.
So yeah, it does seem like might be just seeing if he can greed out a little bit here. Would be nice for him. So, or he could be waiting for the entirety of the urn, so he can just kind of buy it all out, then die.
Yeah,
Either way, we'll go.
840,
yeah. So we'll go check in on the top lane. It seems like you are correct here, Poglet. He has got himself a Ring of Health, so it seems like we will be having the meme hammer Raging Potato Bane in the off lane.
Yeah, it's kind of the only pseudo-core Bane build you can go these days. Because like I said, he has no wave clear. Like the worst wave clear in the game, potentially.
I feel like there's some... I would have said Abaddon, but he does have a Phonic Shield, kind of.
Even the Mistcoil is like the same nuke damage on a lower cooldown and less mana. That's the thing.
True.
Like,
I would say he's pretty bad. He's pretty
so
bad.
expensive. Like, he's only got 500 mana. His spell kit costs 285 to use if he uses both spells.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It only gets worse because it gets up to 160 on Brain Sap, which is incredibly high.
Well, luckily for him, Bane has some pretty good stats, so he's able to at least get to that. He's pretty close. He's only 400 gold away from this Meteor Hammer as well, Poggy, so we're going to have some early aggression here from Raging Potato, and he might be able to at least get those combos. I wonder if they have enough damage to actually kill anybody. Bottom side, it seems like Bob, pardon me, has He's
What is he
just
doing?
I don't know what he's doing. He's got a haste room, which has now run out, and he is now stuck into... Alright, Bob. Cool.
He purposely pulled the lane back to give it more time before it hits the tower. But I don't understand what that achieves, because now they're going to have 2 creep waves under the tower, which is arguably worse, because that tier 1 is now definitely going to die, rather than potentially.
Yep, well, R at least gets himself some experience. So he's going to have 3 levels in his tombstone, so he's going to at least try and make this expensive for them. They do get the stun, so for now he's going to at least get through the creep wave with his tombstone, so that's going to be big pickups here for RR. He's going to have a lot of gold, and he's also going to have a lot of experience as well here on this +5 Undying. Usually we see them get kind of minced pretty early on, and they don't really have that much impact in the game because they are so far behind, but now it seems like they've given RR quite a lot.
They're definitely playing him as a +4. Oh, a nice spear dodge there from Bob. Unfortunately for him, doesn't get the rune anyway. And yeah, I think BDZ is effectively playing +5 here. Like, if you look at the net worth spread, it's already a 700 gold difference. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but he's only got 1,300 gold. So 700 difference is literally a 50% increase. That's how poor they're leaving this Pangolier.
But we've seen a lot of these +4, +5 Pangos really just need Orb of Corrosion and then just get a Blink Dagger eventually and they do their job, so... I'm sure BDZ understands this. Oh, they're going towards the top side here. A little bit hard for me to get towards up there, and they've gone the arena. And they get rid of the Bane. BDZ goes down as well.
Yeah, that was the worst timing Fiend's Grip I think I've ever seen. He went to go get the kill on the Abaddon right as the Mars TP and just obliterates him instantly.
And this Mars is really far ahead, and this is why I like this audible so much from Ragdolls. Is the fact that this Mars is having such a good time. Arjit once again is having a really good start against Bob. But we saw this in the first game, Poggy. The Execration, they were down a couple thousand gold first 10 minutes of the game, but they're able to bring it back off the back of Bob, so see if they can do it again. He needs to have another good performance here on the Ember Spirit.
I think the big difference is all 3 cores are winning on Execration side. They're really struggling here. So Ragdoll, they're going to have their items, all 3 of them at the same time, rather than like a bit of disjointed separation like in game 1. And that's what they punished on Execration. So maybe they look for pickoffs here. James, he's looking like the target. He's in the middle of nowhere. He's in between 2 wards as well. So they know he's there. They know he's somewhere in that jungle warding.
And he has just placed his own ward as well, so we will at least see BDZ here. Does he have enough to try and outplay this? Arjit doesn't have the arena to at least try and walk in and try and force something for him. So I'd imagine he's... No, I don't know if that can actually catch him. Maybe Bob can try and connect, but it's going to be hard for them because Bob actually has nothing. Like, he really does not have all too much, so... I don't know if they can really kill James here.
Yeah, I think it's a situation of you just have to hope for the best and hope the Searing Chains into a Pango shield crash is enough slow. But yeah, you're right. He might get away with walking. Just complete running away at a rapid pace here.
And that's kind of the tale that we've got so far here for Execration. That they are 3k in the bin, but they still have tools to at least try and pull this back like they did in game number 1, but I'm not quite sure if the game plan is as clear as what they had in game number 1. You know, they had the Batrider, they had the Clinks, they had this Night Stalker who was relatively farmed as well, so they had good ways and easier to execute ideas, whereas this time around, you know, they've got an Ember Spirit who doesn't have much, they've got this offlane Bane who's gone into like a Meteor Hammer build who's basically just going to transition into a support with a BKB, so it's like, yeah, he's going to be able to get full duration Fiend scripts off, but does he really do much outside of that?
Yeah, we'll see. If he goes the Ag Shard, he actually can get a lot of farm. The Ag Shard is wild. Especially in team fights, if you don't die, you can turn around and get like an 1,000 health buff. Just because it gives you all of the healing. So he heals, what, 25% from secondary targets, but you hit 6 targets at 300 pure damage each.
Which is a lot. He's going to try and at least get something done towards top side here. Let's go in that menu ping, but he's more kind of just damage rather than anything else. He's not really going to be able to convert it into much.
Yeah. Look to see if he can start pushing this tower a bit heavier, because he's slowly getting it down with meme hammers. They're going to bring actually RR up here as well. They really want this offlane tower. There's no other play around the map that they can take right now.
And that's the thing, it's like, it seems like so far they're just, for the side of Ragdolls, they're just going to put menu ping towards the top here and just say, hey, we'll just leave him here. If he dies, it's whatever. At least try and make this expensive for them. But they've actually brought up Argit here and Raging Potato who comes in as well. They don't have the borrowed time here for the Abaddon. So they're going to lose. Oh, actually Raging Potato gets the kill. So I mean, you take those, considering that that situation was either him dying or him trading.
Yeah, I mean, they get a tower as well. That didn't get denied, so that's actually huge for them. Tower +1. Again, it's not the end of the world. You actually bought the boots out, so you lost negligible gold. Did use the ultimate, and by the way, he's actually building a first item Glimmer Cape. After all that back and forth, he actually goes for the Glimmer.
Okay. Maybe not expecting the urn to be as valuable this time around.
Well, they aren't really getting kills. It's hard to have value from something if you're not getting kills.
Speaking of value, they're at least trying to find something out of Bob here towards the bottom side. The dust goes out. Doesn't hit on the VT fader. James has got the fancy feet. We'll be able to get away for now, but they're going to have the Meteor Hammer that comes in as well. We'll eventually collect onto the Earthshaker. Echo Slam comes back in here, and Bob's going to bite the dust. They do take down the Pango on the backside as well. So much damage coming in from VT Faded. This Maelstrom does so much work. Raging Potato is going to be the next one on the chopping block. They don't get the stun for it, but James is going to have a Fisher coming off cooldown in just a couple of seconds. So they will continue this chase. Raging Potato has the sleep. He needs to try and find the best target for it. But he will be able to get it. Raging Potato, guys. They've actually found Palos here in the area. Oh, they do not get away from him. They weren't able to soak up the Eclipse for him. I'm surprised that they didn't just walk in for VT Faded there. So Palos gets himself a freebie on VT Faded. There's a lot of gold going his way.
Yeah, I mean, they need that really badly. That's 700 gold going towards your carry, who is now caught up, going towards the SMY. That means Palos knows he needs to fight early. They register how far behind they truly are here. And it's starting to look quite rough already. A 2-level gap on the mid lane is insane to think about this early on.
Yeah, which is pretty gross, the fact that Bob understands that he has to do all this kind of random stuff to at least try and get himself back into this game. But at some point, he's really got to start to think about himself as well. Because he's so far behind. Oh, the lucky Centaur. I don't know if that would have really helped at all, but he still missed the spear.
Yeah, maybe if they stun Bob with the Centaur, they get lucky there, but again, just a freebie, walked away. I'm curious to see when they try and get pickoffs. Like Execration, they've got the Fiend's Grip up. They've had it up for about 3 minutes now. Haven't really looked for anything.
Is that mainly off the fact because Execration feels so far behind that they don't think they actually have enough damage to kill anybody with Fiend's Grip? They're going to at least try now.
Yeah, GY, that's a good pickoff, but GY TPs. He sees what's up. They really need Argit. Argit is the pickoff here. If they can find Argit without Abaddon sitting on top of his head, that would be a huge pickup for them.
But you can just see Abaddon's putting a lot of his emphasis towards this mid lane. As if something might be up, and the smoke is for naught. At least Raging Potato is going to get himself a creep wave for this.
Yeah.
But
they're still drawing the lines. They're saying go mid, go mid. Bot lane, Blink Dagger's up. Bob might be in trouble here.
yeah, Blink Echo Slam is not all too much for him, but there's so much stun that comes in. And with the surprise factor there from James, they take down Bob. He doesn't really have much in the way of survivability. So that is a freebie every single day of the week. Argit starts to bully the pos 4 a little bit there. Use the arena for that one, takes that. So, Raging Potato gets out of that. There's no arena here, but Argit, still a scary force. Really hard to try and bring down here. I'd imagine he's probably going to go something towards like a Deso next or something. Maybe even an early AC.
I wouldn't hate if he goes Yules. Like, he's got 2 cores that are super farmed, but the Deso is the aggressive build. If they want to, like, put the foot down, get the kills quickly, don't let this Bane become a hero. Because a late game Bane is something else. Like, if you start getting to the point where you actually can't deal with the Fiend's Grip, and you just get a 10-second stun off, it's pretty much game losing on your core.
Yeah. Especially it being BKB piercing and all that kind of jazz. So they're gonna put their emphasis here. Oh, Raging Potato, he goofed it. He kind of cancelled that one, but either way, at least walk themselves out of this. BDZ. This is kind of an issue that we didn't really get to talk about all too much. Is where are their stuns? Their stuns are so unreliable for the side of Execration that they really kind of rely on Ragdoll running into them, and if they get the run away, they don't get the Searing Chains, then it's not really much they can do.
Yeah, I mean, Searing Chains are bust right now, because the Rolling Thunder is not ready for initiation. He's got the Blink in 300, so they're registering their issue, they're trying to fix it already. But again, it might not matter because of how far ahead the 3 cores are for Ragdoll. All of them are farmed, all of them are building towards strength and health-based items. And now they're going to look for a kill here, Sacrificial Lamb.
He's been found out. Goes down. They didn't have to use anything big for that. It was just mainly a Rod of Atos. So the emphasis is continuing to be put on here. Argit, he's found out Raging Potato. He gets the spear onto the wall. Is it enough damage though? That's the real question. We've got the fissure on the backside. Raging Potato. Okay.
That's the wrong button.
Yeah. He really wanted to sleep Argit there, but wasn't able to get it.
If he sleeps Argit, he might live. Oh, they found another one.
Oh no. Big plays here from Argit, having a stellar performance on this Mars so far. BDZ gonna be able to roll away. So they won't actually get the kill for it. More of a minor inconvenience here for BDZ.
He almost got stuck in the crystal there. What's the regular map?
Yeah, it's a crystal. It's always a crystal on the regular map.
I was just making sure whatever our observer was using was the same as mine.
Anybody who doesn't use, or who does use the desert map, needs to rethink their life. That's all
dude, that underwater one, the FPS breaker.
Oh yeah, the underwater one is stinky.
I remember like streaming on that. It tanked my FPS from like 200 to 80, and I was like, this isn't fun. I don't like this.
Oh. Bob almost got found there, but he's got the Invis rune now to get away. So this game has really not been wrangled back here for Execration. They are still 5k behind.
They have kind of stemmed the bleeding. Like, it is slowly going down, but it's not like rapidly descending into chaos.
Yeah. And I think the big shining light is they've got Palos, who's actually really huge. So he's top net worth in the game right now, but it's whether or not he can actually carry the game for them. So they still need good ways of starting these fights, getting in and locking people down.
Oh, no!
Well, we got found by a Clinks.
Yeah. And bot lane as well, GY is actually looking for the Bane. Raging Potato...
He's just dead.
Or maybe not, they're going to turn this. It's actually kind of huge.
Yeah, that was probably not the play there from James. Turning around with the sleep. Probably want to leave him napping for that one. There's anyone that can stop that Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, I mean, one of those situations where, like, you think about committing the Echo Slam, you think about just getting that kill and walking away. You have no TP rotation, so the rest of Ragdoll couldn't help even if they wanted to. And now the lead's even growing further. Palos level 18? Oh no. Look who they found bot lane.
Yeah, I don't know if they can kill him though. They do have the rotations coming in here from NUP. They've got a lot of damage. The BKB's being burst here by Argit. Now with the arena walls, they have no way of this Luna to be able to use all that net worth. So they at least get the BKB as well as the arena out of this. VT Faded wants to try and get this done. They still have the Echo Slam back in their pocket. Palos standing here and fight. Oh, they found VT Faded on the backside. But now Argent's been able to come in. He misses out on the spear. They throw down the tombstone. This is a big team fight for both these teams. Palos once again is not able to do enough. And the Echo Slam, beautiful there from James. Confirms it for them. And Palos once again is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Doesn't really know where to go, in or out or up or down. And he turns around with the BKBs, doing a lot of damage. But can he confirm any of these kills? He hasn't been able to just yet. Oh no. BKB for naught. Borb tries his best on Benyu Pig, but no, it's all Ragdoll all day, baby, it seems. BDZ. Oh, this is a desperation play if I've ever seen one, Poglet, and that's a full-man wipe. Everybody goes down for the side of Execration. Ragdoll, they lost the 2 initially at the start of that fight, but it was all them all day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of confusing plays there. He has the BKB on Palos, by the way. So he could have BKB walked through the arena and killed him. Decides not to use it, backs off, then BKBs and doesn't TP out, and decides to try to fight 5v1. And then they have Bob try to fight 5v1, and then they have BDZ try to fight 5v1. That's like a lot of miscommunication coming from Execration. That's not what you usually see from a team that just won a game. Like, if they were losing, they were down 0-1, and they were down to game 2, I don't understand that desperation, that anger. But the game was fine, and now it's really hard for them. 10k network lead.
They just keep getting ran at here from Execration, and BDZ is going to get caught on the wall here. He does have that damage reduction, so at least he's going to be able to burn through that for now. And now the rest of Execration, they're going to see if they can turn this around to at least get themselves a kill. His Tombstone's building up so many of these zombies on the backside as well. Raging Potato threw out the feed script there on RJ, but it wasn't enough for them to secure the kill. So they're just going to walk away here. They take GY as well as Menu Ping with them, but that is going to be it.
And 8th lens is completed for Raging Potato, by the way. So he's getting that longer range spell usage every time. It's getting a bit ridiculous.
He's going to at least be able to have a really far Fiend script, but from what I've seen from James, he always seems to be able to find Raging Potato towards the end there, get some good fishes off, and he's going to be on the chopping block here for VT Faded. He's going to at least find him. It's going to be an Echo Slam. Don't even need the Echo Slam. Raging Potato is just going to go down.
Yeah, that's quite scary that they can do this over and over again. There's really no play against it. And now Palos in the top lane, he's going to have to use his BKB here.
Yeah, they haven't been able to find him due to that Glimmer Cape. So, they know where the Luna is. He's going to have to BKB TP. Yep, he will. They don't even find him. So they don't even get the information that he BKB TP'd, but still on the other side for Execration, they know that their BKB is down now for their Luna. And at what point do you start to feel strong if you're Execration? Because right now it seems like the Luna's going to need 2 to 3 more items before she can start doing anything, and then maybe Execration start to catch up, but at that point VT Faded's probably just going to be, you know, end all be all for them, right?
Yeah, I'm under the impression it's one of those games where because you're so underfarmed on your POS 3, you have no initiation that way, and you're so underfarmed on your POS 4, I don't think there's any level of farm that brings Palos back into this game to solo. They need to have a mistake from Ragdoll. They need to have them go into the high ground unprepared. I think that's the only way they come back here.
We'll see if that is the road to victory here for Execration, or whether or not we have ourselves a tied series to start out today. So you can just see the Meteor Hammer now on BT Faded. Just loses a little bit. Raging Potato is going to get caught. Spear, spear, spear.
I can't ping it, but it's off cooldown.
Interesting. So, Arjit didn't want to throw that one out.
It's not the end of the world though. Like, they're gonna push that tower and have to back off anyway. So it's like one of those plays you're like, you should make it, but it's not the end of the world if you miss.
You can just see that Execration are just slowly starting to drag this game out. They've got the Ags now up. Oh, RR is dead. Oh, okay. Alright, no, maybe not. Okay, nice little play there from the Undying. Glimmer TP.
Top lane, look what James is doing. Oh my god, Raging Potato doesn't see it coming.
Oh, he got Echo Slammed, but he wasn't completely in the creep wave. Does he have the damage to do it? No, he doesn't. Oh, James. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
No, you love to see that. That's just straight animal play, and I love it.
Well, on the bottom side, Palos has to beat BTP, so they at least get away from that one. But James, unfortunately, didn't get to have the hero play.
Oh, see, the best part is if he has Shadowblade there, he actually gets that kill, because that extra damage, that's all he needed.
Yeah.
So he's, what, 500 gold away from the Shadowblade, or touch under? Would have been even closer pre-death. Oh, mid.
Oh, he's getting Fiend Script here. He's Argit. It's a bit easy. Luckily for him, the way that the trade works out, he didn't actually get hit there by the arena walls. Oh, Argit. Oh, Raging Potato. We're not talking about that. We're just going to skim past that. Just Raging Potato. We're just going to skim past it. It's fine. We don't want to talk about it because we've got a team fight going on right now, Poglet, and that means that Raging Potato is getting eyed out here by VT Faded. There is an Aghanim Scepter up for Bob, so the Bane's going to bite the dust, and they're looking towards the Ember Spirit here. He wants to get the Arcane Rune. He will be able to get it. So Bob's going to have the Arcane Rune to at least play around with now. With this Aghanim Scepter, it's going to be hard for them to at least try and catch him. Argit has the spear. Bob doesn't throw his Remnant all too far away, so he's going to get caught out. I guess the recent nerf to the Aghanim Scepter cast range really kind of did bite him there.
Yeah, that speed nerf, the actual range nerf as well, it's all adding up. And I don't know what just happened that fight.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm really, like, Execration have just seemed to have collapsed. In about 5 minutes flat, they went from, oh yeah, this game's serviceable, to let's just try and throw spells. And they break that Nightmare in the mid lane, and it leads to disaster. And now this is a Rax. They've got no bomb. I don't think you want to commit the buyback here.
Especially with only a couple of seconds left. You really don't want to, and you can just see that they feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like this Bane pick probably was not panned out the way that they'd hoped it to. I wasn't quite sure what the idea was all in all with this Bane pick. I felt like it probably would have been stronger if you just had a core on dying. And you could have at least tried to play it out that way. But now, Ragdolls, they have not let go of their lead, Poglet. Even though they've had them in both games so far, they're at least now able to move themselves towards a scenario where they're going to start to close this one out. One lane of Rax down, the next one on the list is the mid lane.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for Palos. Like, I don't think he's been in more than 2 team fights, and he's died in both of them, basically.
Yep.
He's just AFK farmed his way, hoping that his team doesn't throw too many kills. Bob goes down again, and now VT Faded, like, there's nothing stopping him from going up on this high ground.
Yeah, there's just so much behind him that they're trying to do here. The BKB is being used, and the feed script here onto the Earthshaker, so we can't get the Echo out. But they've used the BKBs and the Eclipses as well. They're going to try and find Arjun on the backside here with Bob's buyback. So they're going to see if they can catch out this Mars, but they won't have a way of stopping his TP. And G-Wise is going to stand a man fight inside his own Nether Toxin. So with the buyback, they were able to at least get themselves 3 kills out of it. So it was a big team fight there for the side of Execration, but they're going to have to do that many more times. And at this point, they don't really have good ways of trying to get this one done. Raging Potato is at least going to be able to find VT Faded in the top side here and going to get him stunned up. But at what point do you start to back away? Because they don't really have many more members coming in for Execration.
Yeah, I mean, if he has Fiend Script, that's a kill, but obviously having to use that in the team fight. He's actually gone for the Ghost Scepter as well. So, again, I think it's one of those situations where he doesn't want to die, but he's never going to catch up. Like, he's never going to have farm with this playstyle. I just want to see the Ag shot. I want to see the push, the deep push, and the ability to actually take these AoE team fights.
Yeah. I'd like to see it too, especially with how some of these Ag shots have been working out. Now, James has found out Bob, so he's going to at least be able to find him here. Arena Spear directly onto the wall. And they've got enough damage, especially with the Deso coming in from Arjit. So once again, just being picked off, our Execration and Ragdoll have found it. So now, they've got at least 80 seconds. They can do whatever they want on the map.
Yeah, that is a very heavy and costly dieback there. They might not get punished. The lanes are pretty well pushed. They've left him in a good position here. And Palos is obviously still top lane, pushing up that lane. He's got a Daedalus being built up pretty quickly. He has... Where is his courier? Is that a Daedalus?
It's going towards the secret. No, it's not. Where is it? I have no idea where it is. But either way, he has at least most of something being built that has a demon edge in it, either an MKB or a Daedalus.
Oh yeah, so it's in base. It's just sitting in base.
Oh, okay, it's just chilling. He doesn't want to show it. Got the Fiend's Grip on a GY. So they found out the Viper here, but Oceanic Shield, pretty good spell here. Parlos, he is copping a lot of damage. With that Viper Strike, he just has to pick a BTP. There's no way for him to get out of this. And they're just going to lose another one as well. So they thought maybe that would have been a big pick-off for them. Argent found out RR as well. The Undying goes down. Raging Potatoes, the next one on the list. And it's just so much damage. There's not much that they can do. Ragdolls are too far ahead.
Yeah, Parlos got away. So, like, you've got your one shining light, the hero with the farm. When I say with the farm, I mean 10,000 net worth higher than anyone else on his team. It's kind of rough looking at that net worth disparity.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, the fact that Parlos is where he is. Yeah. Considering the state of the game right now, he is going for this Ag Shard build, so he's at least trying to have that poke come in. Whether or not it's going to be enough for them at this point to hold their base. Right now, Bob's been found out once again. He does not have a BKB to play around with either. He gets caught in the arena. He does get out with the remnants, and Parlos doesn't have that BKB to use. So this arena is a big damage mitigation for them. GY has his own BKB, turns back around on the Viper Strike onto the Luna, and Parlos is probably going to bite the dust here. He's trying to fight through with that Satanic, but he's just not doing enough damage. And they're just going to get burned through by the rest of the Ragdolls here. Bob's trying his best on the backside. They save him with the sleep. So Raging Potatoes, big player of the game, was then able to keep Parlos alive, but the rest of the team does die instead. So Execration, they might be in this for a little bit longer with Parlos staying alive, but at what point do you just type the two magical numbers and we go into our next series of today?
What are the numbers, Mason?
I don't know.
But yeah, this one's massively over. Unfortunately, you say Raging Potato made the one play of the game, but I was kind of laughing when I saw offlane Bane. I thought it was going to be fun to watch. Unfortunately, it just can't do anything. Like we said, the big problem with this hero, it can't farm, it can't push lanes, and lo and behold, he's underfarmed and hasn't pushed any lanes out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with this is maybe they're expecting this Bane Pango lane to be a little bit stronger, especially once he got that Meteor Hammer, but you're playing into an Abaddon. Like, you're playing one of these heroes that relies so heavily on their great CC to chain into a Meteor Hammer, but there's an Abaddon. Like, our Photic Shield for the last, 5 years has been literally the bane of every Bane's existence. Every support's existence. Just being able to easily purge off any of these ultimates, and you're willingly picking it into it. I don't know whether or not the idea originally was to have the Bane as a core when they picked it, or whether or not they made that transition after seeing the Mars, but it's still going to be a shitty game for a Bane, whether or not you're a support or a core.
Yeah, I mean, at least as a support, you could have the Undying, who would have an Ags +1 by now.
Yeah.
So he would be able to fight a bit more. And Ags, he's level 12. Oh, Parlos.
They're all just dead. There's just not much else to say about this.
He's got no buyback, by the way, because he's 200 gold away. He didn't even get the Daedalus either. But that was the Ag Shard purchase for no buyback. Bob's doing his... Yes, oh, they've got the Fortify. Bob doesn't even get the creep wave.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. VT faded inside of their base as well. That's called out Raging Potato. So there's fights on multiple fronts here, and Bob with the magic feet gets away. So nice play from him, but is it 70 seconds worth of stalling? I don't think so, because the creep waves are slowly going to walk in here. They're going to be able to at least get the back door away. They're going to get rid of this final lane of racks, and we're just going to call it. And I think we even out this series with a 1-1 Poglet, and then we start to move a little forward to our next series of today. We do get to see Execration for a second time today, so it's not like we missed them all out here for today, but
they're going to need that 4-hour break, I think. This game hurt. This game would have hurt a lot for them. They got the win, though, so they got that 1-all at least. at minimum, they needed to go 1-1 against Ragdoll, and they need to be able to beat MY later today, like you said.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not the Bane pick.
I was gonna say, like, there's a Fiend script here on a VT Faded, but as long as this Abaddon is still alive, there's not much you can do, and they're trying to buy time for at least Parlos to be alive, but Arjit has different ideas. He's just going to focus his attention onto the Ancient. GG has been called. That's the two lovely numbers I was speaking of, Poglet. It might not look like numbers, but to the Giga Chads and the Galaxy Brains, GG are numbers, and they do spell out a 1-1.
That's gonna be the worst transition you've ever done.
Huge. My brain is so massive, so massive, that even I amaze myself with my brilliance sometimes.
Yeah, what didn't amaze me though, the hero selections from Execration.
Yeah.
I got a level with it. It looked fun on paper, it looked interesting, but that Bane Undying combo really couldn't do anything, and obviously the Pango as well. None of those heroes synergized well together. We even saw a couple times where they actually broke the Nightmare with like a decay, for instance.
Yeah.
That's just a disaster waiting to happen. And Palos just kind of has to sit there, hands in his head. Just there's nothing for him to do this game.
Yeah, that was the kind of sad part, right? Is he had a pretty good game on the Luna, all things, being considered, but it was just the rest of the team just couldn't help them at all. And now, walking through this, like, we have a look at the Bane. It was a second pick Bane, so they obviously had ideas about what they wanted to do with this Bane pick, but after they saw the Mars, they realized that they probably don't have that good of a lane if they have this this Bane as a pos 5. So they tried to make the Audible, make it into a support Bane, and make it into a core Bane, pardon me, and then it really just didn't work out for them. And then obviously this Mars versus the Ember Spirit mid was a beautiful transition here from Ragdoll that I feels like that they kind of just had Execration figured out in this second game. Like, they beat them in the draft, they beat them in the lane assignments, and it just feels like they kind of beat them all over the park. And it was a really big standout for me that Ragdoll were able to, after game number 1, handedly keep their lead in this game number 2 and dispatch of Execration the way they did.
Yeah, I mean, it just showed the big problem Ragdoll had was pickoffs in game 1. Like, they dominated the early game, like we thought they would in game 2 as well. Difference was this time they were looking for pickoffs and playing as a team. So all it took for Ragdoll was to cop a really bad loss, like a game they shouldn't have lost, to reset, refresh their brain. And unfortunately for them, they're not playing again for 2 days. We're not seeing them again until Sunday, I believe. So they've got a bit of a break in this tournament, but that's a good selling point for them. Like, they're going to be happy with this game too, and they'll be able to watch some of the other teams and what they play, and then make that final push for top 4 as the round gets toward the end.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing for Ragdoll is they had a pretty big showing here now, and they can go back and refine a few of that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's our first series in the books. Our second one is going to be SMG versus Royal 5. So make sure you join us after this short break. We'll see you guys for the second series of the QH Sports Dota series, number 2.
You are not prepared. And make your bet, Pickle Bet. For a chance to win real money, enjoy your favorite games. Bet on your favorite teams. Australia's first dedicated esports betting website. Pickle Bet. Make your bet.
Got a lot on my mind, yeah. I've been feeling down lately, and I don't wanna hide it, but I don't want the crying. So say what I need to.
trying to see through your flaws. Cause I know that you got so much more to give. You made a real mess, but I miss you though. Cause I can go to sleep when I'm alone again. Say you wanna fix our problems. How long should I be waiting? Feels like I've had too much of drama, but I'm not ready to give in. Of your good side, I start wondering how I could make it last a little longer. Say you wanna fix our problems. How long should I be waiting? Feels like I've had too much of drama, but I'm not ready to give in.
Hate it when you